Hi everyone. Evening. We would kick off in 4 minutes. Let me see how many more people will be able to join. Um, Hi, good evening. Please confirm, can you hear me clearly? Am I loud enough? If you can hear me, you can just do a thumbs up or something.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Um, so today we will be looking at high fidelity design. So this is you know, practical. We don't need any slides for this particular section. I will be showing you how you can design let's say let's go with a landing page, right? Let's go with a landing page. So I'll walk you through the process. I mean, it's just one process. Different people would approach this same problem different ways. So the whole idea is for you to see Figma features Figma features in effect, like in use. So you would have an idea what you need to start a design, different tools and how they would help you achieve different things. I believe you guys have done your first introduction to Figma, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So whatever I'll be showing you is not going to be entirely new to you. Just a second, let me share my screen so we can start. Okay, so I'm sharing my Figma screen. I hope you guys can see the window. You can see my screen, right? Yes. Let me just create a new file. This one. Okay. Next this. And it's also there. Let me be sure that this is okay. Okay. All right. So we want to design a landing page. I have asked ChatGPT to just give me a copy that I can use for I can use to design a simple landing page, and I would add the copy here now. So I'm just going to draw a frame where I can add the copy. Yeah. So I have this. Let me just make this readable. Okay. So I have this copy. It's for a wellness app specifically directed or specifically targeted at university students. So this is the typical layout or the typical sections you can find in the landing page. So we have the hero section, we have benefits, we also have maybe how it works or something. We have a testimonial section, just pretty simple and straightforward. I also asked it to suggest a color scheme so we don't waste time trying to find colors that would work. Now in designing, of course, the first thing is to select your frame. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of mobile first in design. I mean, the whole idea of mobile first is to ensure that whatever you're designing, you're considering mobile app users. Why? Because in the world right now, most products, I mean, everything is almost mobile centered. Everybody has a mobile phone, right? And you want your users to be able to access whatever you have designed or whatever product or solution you're offering with ease. And because we know that most people would access your product on their mobile phones, hence the need for mobile first design. With that out of the way, for me, I mean, I know some people, depending on how you're approaching the design and depending on the product you're designing, some people decide to sketch their mobile layout first so that they would ensure that, okay, whatever I will be scaling up for desktop is going to be perfect for mobile. At the same time, you can have it in mind. I know that, okay, however, I'm structuring this layout for my desktop now. I need to make sure that I remember to ensure that it's going to be responsive on mobile devices. Responsive means that everything should scale for that particular device. And I'm just going to go in to select a frame so that we can start designing. I'll use the desktop. So as you can see here, we have different frames, different frame sizes for desktop. I usually go with 1440. I mean, I go for this because it's the biggest. And okay, I mean, it's the biggest they have here because in real world application, you are going to have even larger screens. So from this, it will be easy for the developer that is implementing the design to scale up. The same thing for the phone. For the mobile device, I usually go for something sort of in between so that it's easy for the developer to scale up or to scale down without losing anything. Or even if you might lose something, you won't lose so much. You also have Figma Mirror. It's a mobile app you can design in case you want to see what your product would look like on a mobile screen. It's also going to help you to ensure that whatever you're designing is accessible on mobile phones. So in case you want to, you should definitely download it. It's going to help you as you design. Now, let me go back to my brief. My brief says, oh, okay, not a brief. I mean, my content says, hero section, key benefits, how it works, testimonial, and just call to action. So this is roughly 4 or 5 sections that I'll be having on this landing page design. And for my background, I've been given 2 colors that I could use, plain white or this F7, FC, FF. So I would prefer to go with this instead of plain white. So I'm just going to add the color here. Okay. And oh, this is the shade. But let me go for something towards this. Yes, I think this would fit what I have in my mind. Now, when you are designing, we have guides that would help us ensure that whatever content we have is visible when people are viewing it. So we have the layout grid. If I click on this plus sign, you're going to see this grid that appears. But I won't be using the grid. I'm going to be using the columns. So you can see these columns. There are 5 of them now. In between these columns, we have what we call gutter. Gutter is the space in between each column. Then we also have the margin. Let me increase the margin so that you would see it. So the margin is the padding at the edges, this and this. So right now the margin I have is 80. The gutter is 20. So the margin means that whoever is viewing it on their screen, the content is going to fit from 80 pixels from the edge of their screen. Does that make sense? So when you're doing, the whole idea is that your content is not allowed to exceed this, where you have these columns inside. There are some cases where you might have content that would overflow. It could be for horizontal scroll. It could also be, 1 second. About that. So your content is going to fit within this space that has been provided. Maybe you have a background image for your hero section. Cases like that, you could have that image overflowing. It all depends on the direction you are going for the design. So let's start with our navigation. I mean, we're going into the design now. So as we progress, I'll be showing you the different things that I'll be using. But before that, we have a system when you're designing. So they call it, I mean, it could be 8 points or 4 points. So 8 points means that is the smallest unit. You're going to scale up from 8 points. And because of that, I prefer to have my columns in even numbers that are, divisible by 8 or 4. So for this section, I'm going to have 12 columns. Then for the gutter, 20 is fine. You can decide to increase it or whatever you want to do. And let me just go in and start designing. Let me have, okay, the name is Calm. Let me just call it Calma. And because we don't have a logo, I'm just going to go for something decorative to use for the logo. I mean, a decorative font or typeface, rather. Let me go for, yeah. Then I'm going to flatten this so that I can use it as a vector. And okay, so what I just did now, I just locked the aspect ratio. This is a new feature in Figma where whatever, if you decide to scale this up, it's going to scale proportionately. So I'm going to just scale this up to, let's say, 22 or so. Yeah, 22 is fine. So this is just my standing logo. And for my typeface, in design, you're going to have 2 typefaces, maybe. Sometimes you can have up to 3. Again, depends on your design. Sometimes you can just use one. So one is usually for your headings, and the other one is usually for the body, which is the content, the main content of the products you're designing. And I'm trying to choose one for the heading now. Let me see what I have here. Let's see. Well, yes. Let me see what else I have with Coletta. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go for a Coletta because it just has this rounded and welcoming feeling. These are things you are going to decide ahead when you're designing. So these are things you're going to consider before you actually start designing, because you need to know, okay, what products am I designing? What kind of feeling do I want users to get when they are using this product I've designed? These are the things you consider, because if you use a typeface that has sharp edges, it's not necessarily going to give that calming feel that maybe we're looking for in this product now. Or if you use, I mean, I would strongly advise against using cursive fonts, of course, because they are not legible. You can use some, serif fonts, but just be careful when you're using them to make sure that they are not too decorative that people will struggle to read the content of what you're designing. So for the hero section, it's usually the most decorative part of your design. So you're going to have really large, okay, not too large, because we definitely have the best practices when you're designing. So, but the heading is definitely going to be catchy because your hero section is what will determine if users are going to continue scrolling through what your product is all about, or if they are going to abandon. So if you don't nail your hero section, you are going to be losing a lot of users or customers, as the case may be. And for this, I'm going to be using 54 pixels as as the largest for this section, because there isn't so much information to divulge on the hero section. The hero section is like your 5 second pitch to the user. So if you're not able to convince them that, okay, they should continue scrolling, then you have lost them. And for this section, it says find balance, feel success, and flourish. So I'm just going to type that in here. Find, do I want to use title case or sentence case? Okay, let's just go with find balance. They said feel, okay, I'm just feel success and flourish. Now, for your hero section, I believe you've come across various designs, various landing page designs. So you could have it left aligned, you could have it center aligned, and in some cases, depending on the country you're designing for, you could have it aligned to the right. But the whole idea is it should be aligned, it should belong somewhere. It cannot just be hanging anyhow. That's just the whole idea, because you want to be consistent. You want your users to be able to read through comfortably. Don't stress them when you have things scattered all over the place. So if you want to align this, just come over here where you have position on this side and just press this. You can see align horizontal centers. So it's going to center automatically. At the same time, you can also drag it. Figma also has it also has, should I call it smart, what is it called? How do they say it in Photoshop again? Whatever it is, but yeah, they have a way for you to know that, okay, you're also at the center or whatever. So you can see these red lines that keep on appearing. This is for me to know that it's at the center right now. So I can just leave it here and just move it up. This is 150%, the line height. For me, it's too much for this particular section. So I'm just going to reduce it to 120 because it's not a long text. So usually when you have tinier fonts or typefaces, it's best to increase your line height so that your readability will be improved. Now, we can always preview this on Figma. Let's just be sure that we're not doing nonsense or we're not moving away from our target. So this is all we have for now. Let's continue. Now, okay, as I'm looking at this now, I'm like, this feels like it's too long. It might not be for everybody. For some people, at the end of the day, it depends on you and what you want to design. So I can decide to just shorten this. I can decide to make it shorter this way, or I can decide to reduce the font size. So we can go for, okay, maybe 48. If you go for 48, you see this is what it looks like now. Or let me just center. Flourish, whatever. Find balance, feel success, flourish. Now, I don't like this, so let me just leave it as it was. When I add the writer text, I would know if I still want to change something. So for my writer text, which is definitely going to be smaller because yes, it's also going to have some information about the product. For this, I'm probably going to use any font at all that you want to use or any typeface. there is Gilroy. So right now I'm going for something that is legible, easy to read, no decorations, just straight to the point. You have Gilroy, you have plus Jakarta or something. Yeah, so find whatever works for you and just stick with it. You can always what is it called? Explore, look at different designs, and you have an idea how to combine your fonts or your typefaces. Which one should I go for? I mean, there something tricky about this plus Jakarta is that it's very tight. So the spacing between, let me go with this one. So the spacing um between the alphabets is small. So sometimes it could be tricky. It might not be as legible as you want it to be. So in cases like that, you can come over here where you have letter spacing and you can increase the spacing between the letters. But I don't want to do any of that. I'm just going to scale this down to 16. When you're designing, the smallest should I call it the smallest font size that is advised is 16, but you can have people go as low as 14. Yeah, you can have people go as low as 14. So just find what works for you and what works for your users as well. Just make sure that whoever is reading it is going to be able to read it perfectly. So I'm just going to scale this down a bit because now I'm comparing the difference in size between this and this, between these two. So I don't want it to be too, I mean, of course, I want it to be contrasting, but I don't want it to feel off, if that makes sense. Now, let me just copy this and paste it in here. So copy. I mean, it's going to change it, but no problem. We're definitely going to go back to Gilroy whenever we want to. Oh, sorry, I was saying plus Jakarta. Okay, so a wellness app crafted for university life, mind, body, and study harmony. Oh well, whatever ChatGPT says, no problem. So I just added auto layout. Auto layout helps me organize whatever I'm doing. So in case I need to duplicate something or I need to change whatever, I don't always have to come back to start adjusting the spacing between these two, as opposed to just using normal frames or groups in designing. I just want to come back and look at this. So this is 14, not 16. So let me take it back to 16. So just look at it. Okay, no problem. Now, the next thing is my call to action. So everything here is pretty much your call to action, but of course, this is where you see the call to action. This is what says get started, it's free, right? And for this, I feel like I want to add something more beyond what ChatGPT has given me. I want to add this section that has some social proof, just so that I can convince people that yes, it's necessary for you to use this. So I'm just going to say it's loved by 10,000 people or whatever number I want. So let me just have this by the side. But before that, I want to have my button. So I'm just going to duplicate this and type get started. Get started. It's free. Right. So you're going to be using, or you will be seeing a lot of auto layout in design. I mean, auto layout is that tool in Figma that I don't think I can survive without because of how important and how easy it makes my work. It's just easy for me to format whatever I want to format, or change whatever I want to change with auto layout. So I've added auto layout now, and I'm going to set this to fog so that it doesn't cover this entire width. Then I'm also going to add some padding, top, bottom, left, and right. Usually they would say, please, I'm not very sure because it's been a while, but best practices, the padding to the top, padding at the top and bottom, if it's X, the padding to the left and right should be at least 2X. So if you have 8 pixels top and bottom, best practice says you're going to have at least 16 pixels to the left and right, just so your button looks good. And I'm going to add that padding now. So everything you need is just right here. I'm just going to, what did I just do? Okay. So from auto layout panel or configuration, whatever, you're going to see this here. So if I make this 12, I'll probably make this 24. So this is set to, it was set to fill container. So I'm just going to change it to full content so it doesn't look too weird. And I'm going to add a fill now. And for my button, let me see if they suggested anything for my button. Background page, accents, where's the, okay, primary button. So use Xcode this. Let me just copy this and see what it looks like. I honestly don't know what this looks like, so we're going to find out now. Okay, something towards teal, just so you see it well. This is what it looks like, and I'm not very sure I like this, but let's be watching. So I'm just going to increase the height because I want this button to be bigger. I'm going to come over here again and increase the top padding to 16, and now it's 56. I can decide to leave this at 24 because to me, it's not looking bad at all. It's up to you. Some people will decide to also, go ahead and increase that. It just depends on what you want to design. I'm going to round the corners, so I'm just going to set it to 999. Just take it up. And this, I'm going to set it to semi-bold because I want this to be legible. I want it to capture the attention of my users, my potential users. And right now, I'm just going to hide this grid that I added, the columns I added, so that I can see what I'm doing here. And yeah, I don't like this, so I'm just going to choose my own colors. Let me see, something towards peach or so. 1 second. Let me see what I want. Okay, we can have this. So something else you need to be wary of is contrast. Sometimes some people might not be able to read white over orange background. So you need to make sure that whatever you're using, it's legible. And at the end of the day, just make sure it's accessible. So for this, I feel like a darker color is going to be easier for people to read. So I'm just going to drag it down, almost black, not black, just almost black. So I have something like this. Not bad, not bad. So I'm going to group these two because I want to add more space in between the button and the text. So I'm just going to group these two and I'll set this to 16 pixels. I will go out and set this to, let's say, 28 or, yeah, let's just see 28 first. Okay, 28. So this is me editing whatever ChatGPT gave me because I feel like there is some balance lacking. So I want this to just be short like this. Yeah, I feel more comfortable with this. So find balance, feel success. I'm okay with this. Now for my social proof, I said loved by over 10,000 students across blah, 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 50 campuses. So this is going to come in beneath here because it's just social proof. So I want people to be convinced that, okay, this product is good for them. I can decide to reduce the size of this to say 14 because it's not the important thing right here. I'm just going to reduce the size and probably have some icons of some schools scrolling, just animated. Let me see. We have plugins in Figma. So I'm just going to find a plugin that has vector logos, just so I can pop in something and continue my work. Let me see. Do you have Stanford? Okay, interesting. They have school logos. So I'm just going to select some logos. Maybe Stanford Medicine. Okay, I'll just use one and duplicate. Later on, we can always change the logos. So there's Stanford Medicine. I'm going to Control Shift some group so that I can use the frame I want. Control Alt. Okay. I'm going to scale this down, of course. So instead of using this, I'm just going to press K to help me scale it. So K is going to scale everything, including the spacing. It makes sure that it looks good, whatever size it is. So I'm just going to reduce this to say 28. Yeah. And I'm going to cut this because I want to paste it in here and replace. So duplicate maybe 4 times or whatever and group. And I'm going to spread this across like this, 40. Yeah. Let me change this to 16. Okay. So let's see. This is what it's looking like right now. So for me, I want this to be faded because I want it to be scrolling at some point. So I'm just going to make a mask. You don't necessarily need to learn how to use all of this now, but over time, when you find out different things you can do with Figma, as you are getting more conversant and comfortable with it, you can definitely explore more and do more things. So let me, what's the height here? Well, the height doesn't really matter. So the width is 526.09. So I'm just going to make it 528. So I'll cut this and paste it in here. Now, in a case like this, okay. Because this is auto layout, it has stacked this rectangle I drew now to the left, a bit to the right rather. So auto layout is going to continue stacking it. But I don't want it to be that way. I want this to have to be free, the position to be free. They call it absolute position. So this small icon here, now Figma calls it ignore auto layout. So I've selected this rectangle. I don't want it to follow the rules of this auto layout I've created. So I'm just going to click on this and say ignore auto layout. Now it's going to be moving like it's not within the auto layout. So I'm just going to align this and it's going to be this way because as I mentioned, I want to use this as a mask. So I'm going to come over here. Everything you need is actually on this panel in case you are wondering, whatever you might need. So if you click on this small icon, you see the option to use as mask. So, oh no, okay, let me group this first so it doesn't misbehave. Okay, now I want to use this as mask. Use as mask. Okay, now it has disappeared, right? You're going to see the effect of a mask now. I want to change the feel of that rectangle to gradient. And when it's set to gradient, I can decide to, let me just copy this and paste this. So I want to reduce the opacity to the left and right. So I'm going to set this to 0. And I'll set this to 0. That's it to the opacity. Set it to common. What did you add to your mask? Sorry, 1 second. I've noticed something weird happening. Let me try this again. User's mask. Oh, this we're at the top. All right, okay. And yeah, okay. So, interesting. 0, 0. Now this has disappeared. I'm just going to add something at the middle to set this to 100. I'm going to duplicate, set this to 100 as well. So I want to have it 2 stops. Paste, paste. Sorry, I'm going to try to move fast because the most important thing I want you to see is how to make it responsive for mobile. So I'm just going to pull this down or pull this down. So it looks like it's fading out and it's just going to be moving. You're going to be seeing different icons of schools just coming out from the side, just moving. Okay. Hero section. Now, we're still not done because the hero section is still looking bland, boring. Because I know this is targeted at students, despite the fact that it's an app, some people could decide, okay, because this is an app, they want to sample the app by the right, or wherever they want to sample it. Maybe they will just have a mobile device here that contains a screen from the app. But that's not the direction I want to go. I want it to feel more relatable. So I want to add images of students, of young people, so that when these people visit the website, they feel, okay, this is something designed with me in mind. That's just it. So design is more about psychology than than shapes and colors, to be honest. If you're able to hack your user's mind, then as long as the UX is good, you're definitely going to have returning customers. You have people who are willing to pay you for your products. Before we continue, I want to set the colors for my font for the text. Going through this is sort of stressful. So I'm just going to come here to set it myself. It's not advised to use pitch black, that's 000, which is what this was set at. It's not advised to use it in design. So when we want to use a dark text, we just come over here and eyeball it and just find something dark, but not 000. And for me, this is fine. So I'm just going to copy this because I want to make sure that I am, somewhere, my text colors are not so different from each other. So from here, I'm just going to drag it up because this is going to be lighter. And yeah, I'm okay with this. So I'm just going to copy this. Now, I can decide to continue copying this color whenever I want to use it, or I can decide to create a style or a variable. But let's stick with styles right now because variables on their own is a whole different lesson. So to create a style, you have this four boxes here, and you're going to see apply styles and variables. If you click on it, you see that you don't have any in your library yet. So you can add a new style. And I want to call this rider text. And this one, I'm going to call it heading, or let me call it main text instead. Now, if I want to apply this color anywhere else, I don't have to come back here to pick it. I just have to go select what I want to change the color, come here, I see the different colors, the different styles I've created. So I'll just select it from here and it applies it for me automatically. I'm also going to update the style here, which is main text, and we're good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. So now it's for me to add the little things that would make my landing page more interesting when people visit it, because just like this, it's very, very boring. So as I mentioned, I want to have images of students, just random people. And okay, let me delete this. So instead of going for a regular shape, there is this plugin in Figma called blobs. So it would give you random shapes. I mean, random shapes that tend towards being circular. You can change the complexity and uniqueness. You have toggles. So I want to have shapes like this because they just seem to be more interesting. So I'm going to add a couple, several. 1, 2, 3, another one, 4. Okay, let me just go with 4. See what we can do with this. Now I'm going to scale this down. Let me see, 261. Okay. I'm just going to scale everything down so that I can use it in my design. Yeah. Okay. I can come in here and maybe I just want to have different images of people. What did I just do? Okay. Can I explain? Okay, so all these questions, I'll go through them again at the end so that we don't spend a lot of time explaining these things over and over again. So I'm going to look through the questions you've asked. So instead, I will delete this one and just duplicate this. So duplicating is Control D, in case you are wondering. Now I'll select this two and I will scroll down. Why is this not responding? The whole shit. That is weird. Yeah, that is weird. Let me see. Okay. I don't know why this is happening this way, but let me just group it first. Oh, it's not in the frame, that's why. Okay. Let me just drag this out and I'll drag it back in so that it will be inside this frame. Now, if I hold shift, it's going to respond there. It will act the way I want it to. Let me just see how it looks in the preview before I go ahead. Let me know if I like it or I don't. See if I'm going for something else soon. Going to space this more and drag. Okay, these ones are not in the frame either, so I'm just going to move it around and bring it back in. Now it will appear here. Yeah. Okay. So let me start from here. I just want to have an image of somebody here. Now, plugins are your best friend in Figma. I mean, are your best friends, best friends, whatever. So you're going to be using a lot of plugins, especially when you want to achieve something faster. Because now I want to add an image inside this blob. I'll just go to my plugin. I have what is it called? Unsplash plugin. So loading. Okay, so on Splash, I can quickly search for an image. Young Hispanic girl. I just said girl. Young Hispanic lady, or let me use lady, so they don't give me like very young people. Which one do I like? Just looking for which I want to. Okay, I think this one. Let me see what it looks like. Okay. The lighting is what I'm concerned about. So, I mean, it's just our first design, so it doesn't matter a lot. Let me, young African man. Let me see. Which one looks like a university student here? I mean, I want somebody happy, or laughing or smiling. Okay. So we have this. Let me see. Okay. I'm just trying to make it diverse. So this one, let's just go with this. Even though it's too dark. Happy or white man. Let me see. Okay. So let's just work with these images now and play around with it. Let's see what we can achieve. Now, remember when I mentioned this, that some cases you might have some things that are popping out, but I don't want this to move out of the frame. I still want it to stay within the frame. So I'm just going to, within the grid rather. So I'm just going to edit this. Did I open something? Okay. Let's see. Okay, 80. And this one moving. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to hide this again. Hide so that I'll be seeing what I'm doing. I'm selecting these two to align them. Okay, so this one is bigger. I'm going to scale this down a bit. I'm going to hold Alt Shift so it scales from the center. Yeah. I can still scale them down just so they are not in the way. Okay. Then I can make these ones even smaller. Not the same size, not the same size yet. So this is 169, 474, 74. Okay. Now I can select both of them and scale them down together. So I want this to be maybe 140. Yeah. Select both of them, make sure that they are aligned. I can move this a bit, just move it around. Okay. Find balance, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm still going to make some edits. Because I feel like we're taking some time on this section, so let me try and move faster. Calm down. Okay, let's just go with this for now and probably have right. So I want to use the pencil tool to just scribble some lines. Okay, this is not straight at all. Okay, let me just use the pen to draw whatever I want to draw. Um, A. From here. So these are things you look at and say, okay, this works for me or this does not work right now. Let me just edit the increase more. Let me send this below. And I'm going to change certain things. So dash. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Probably just going to add some icons. So if you are looking for icons in Figma, the plugin is, there is Iconify, there is feather icons, there is this magician, there's icons. If you just go to Figma community and just search icons, you're going to see plugins and files. So yeah, Iconify. Okay, let me see what icons I can have here. So search, just searching health. So for health, I have these options. Okay, I'm not feeling anything here. So let me just drag in something. Let me just drag in random stuff. Health and just if. Okay. There is this, that's not exactly how I want it. Okay, let me just go for something. No. See, I'm not feeling any of these icons, but it doesn't matter so much since we're just testing out stuff. Ba, 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 ba. Scale this down. Change the color to something around this. Let me see. So I'm going for something pastel. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to add some decorations so it doesn't look too boring. Then we can move on from this section because our hero section has taken quite some time to finish. So okay, I'm just going to settle with this for now. definitely, given more time, you can continue tweaking and tweaking and tweaking so you are very comfortable with what you have. Now let's move immediately and we go to this. So we have this benefits section. Okay, mindful moments, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to go in and create some. I used the rectangle. I wanted to use a frame. So, where's my layout grid? Let me see what I'm doing. Okay. So I want to have this fill white and use this. And okay, so white is, this is very close to white, so it's not that obvious. Now I can say, let me tweak my background color a bit so that this white color I'm bringing in will be more visible. Yeah, let's see. Okay. I want to round the corners, let's say 20 or 24. So I'm going to have a list of the benefits within this frame as we're going down. Grab this. So what this looks like. Okay. Entitled 2088. So if you notice, I'm maintaining I'm maintaining a particular multiple, is it multiple or whatever. But yeah, I don't want to go beyond, I don't want to break away from multiples of 8 or 4 when it's divided to the list unit. So for this section, they called it key benefits. So I'm just going to say Y Palmer instead of key benefits. I just duplicated this because I want to use it like this. So I'm just going to reduce this to 40 and Y Palmer or okay, let's see. Protect your mind. Or your peace. Okay, no. Protect your mind with karma. Full stop. Again, have this centered somewhere. Let me see what it looks like before I continue. Okay, it's not terrible, not as bad as I thought it would be. So I think I want to make some changes here. Let me just see what this would look like. I don't know what it would look like. 64 is too small. Let me see. Well, not this extreme. So let me go with 200 maybe. And 200 here. I just want it to be more rounded. Okay, yeah. I just want it to be more rounded. And from here to here, this is 64. So I'm just going to maybe move this down to 18. Protect your mind. So this section is, sorry, I hope I'm not boring everybody. I just want to make sure everybody's following. Are you guys following? Let me be sure before.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I am right now.
Oh, did somebody say something?
Yeah, I actually spoke. I am. You know about it.
Sorry, your voice is low. Let me just get my headphones. Let me be sure it's not. Okay, what did you say? Sorry.
You asked if we are following. I said, yes, I
Okay,
am.
okay, awesome. Okay, so the protection line with Palma. So we have these sections. So we have one mindful moment, short guided meditations, lots of campus stressors, blah blah blah. Okay. So just to whatever this is, let me just use this. First one says mindful moments. Mindful moments. Use this. So sorry. 20. Just going to add auto layout again and align this to the left. Let me just change this again. And change the colors, apply my style. So let's align. I mean, it's very important to make sure that whatever you're doing is aligned to something. Let's not just, I mean, and of course, at the same time, you can't have this left aligned and this one is going to be centered. It's just going to look weird, as you can see. So if you're going for left aligned, stick with left aligned. Don't combine for a particular section of use the said elements. So I'm also going to set this main container to bulk content. Let's see what it looks like first. Sorry, I'm going to add something like a scroller. Um, broad. Have a rectangle inside it. It's also going to be there. Center. Set this as a style already, but it's fine. I'm also going to add a field to this one. Just something that's too visible. Set this to 9 as well. Taking between this two, scroll between this two, between this two, between this two, between them. This versus this one is exported. So I'm going to have, okay, let's make it longer. This is 295. And this 298. So I want to have 4 sections. So I just want to choose it. So 70 voice. 70. Going to duplicate this down. So ChatGPT. So I don't have to keep editing all the time. That's my content script. So I don't keep the pattern on different.
Your voice is very low.
Is it mine? Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I mean, I'm not saying any important. I'm just copying the content I have from ChatGPT. So I want to arrange everything and then auto layout so that in case I want to add something, it would still be easy for me to format. 32. So I'm just going to use this 8 pixels instead of 12 and make this match the height. So I want to increase the length of this the length of this frame, but I want this to also follow it. I want this rectangle inside to also increase as I'm increasing this. So I'm going to come over here where you have this position. You are going to see these controls, but here it says top. So if it says top and I decide to pull this down, it's going to stick at the top. It's not going to move. If I select that rectangle and set it to bottom, and I decide to increase the length, it's going to follow it. Now, see, it's going to move. But what I want it to do is to scale. So I'm going to select it, come over here and select scale. So if I decide to increase the length of this, if I decide to increase the length, come on, okay, it's going to follow it, as you can see. Now, this is auto layout. I'm going to add another auto layout here. And I'll just select this and set it to fill. This is just going to respond as well, making life easier. Okay, so I'm also going to increase the spacing here to say 20. Let me see what it looks like. Okay. 20. Okay, no problem. I'm just going to increase this to 40. Now I'm going to hide these other ones. I'm going to hide the writer text for these ones. Hide. Yeah. Because I want it to be like, okay, when they click on this section, it expands, this expands, this expands. If that makes sense. Let me just see what it looks like here. Okay, so it's pretty short. So I can still add and I can still make this extend 654. Okay. Well, let me just see what it looks like here. Okay, I think I'm okay with this. And I want to have an image here that will be changing depending on whatever is selected. So this is 83 now. This is 80. I can increase this. It's 8. Let me see. Um, so 28. Make this bigger, whatever. Shift 8. Let me see what it looks like here. Okay. About this, I don't want to worry about this image so much because I don't even know what to add just yet. So let's just leave it black like this for now. And I'm going to extend this frame. So, protection round. What does this section say? Okay, how it works. Oh, sorry. If I decide to pull this all the way, what section follows next? So I have testimonial after that. Testimonials. Okay. Okay, no problem. Let me just put these ones auto layout again. 20 pixels. Let's see. Okay, maybe it is well, it's 20, see what it looks like. 20, maybe one. What? So I'll just duplicate this. I want to add another section here. We should say how it works. How it works. So this will be coming in. This will be handy for me for this section. Let me just bring this out and delete these other ones. Now I want this to be centered. Center, center and center again. So for how it works, maybe I'll just have some product images or some icons. I mean, it could be icons or whatever, just to demonstrate or illustrate how this product is supposed to work to the user. And I'm just going to use a rectangle to represent the image because we don't have any images right now. Just put paste it inside this one. That's also layout. 24, 32 rather. So this is the first how it works. Let me just say this to or maybe let me use those blobs again, just to add some personality to it. Okay, Shift R. So if you want to replace, if you want to replace something in Figma with another thing, you just select what you want to replace, and instead of doing normal Control V to paste, you press Ctrl Shift R. It's just going to replace it. So let me set this to 100. See how it looks first of all. Okay, let's to be now tweak this and set this spacing to say 64. Let's just see. I think I'll just reduce the size. So of course, as you're designing, you'll be watching to make sure that what you're doing actually makes sense or that it's working. So I'm going to set this to fill container because I don't want it to exceed this width that I've set inside here. Change the spacing to 24. Oh, did I set 4? Oh, change the spacing to 30. Let's see, 64. So I'm still working with multiples of 8 or 4. Depending on how you want to look at it. Fill container, set to fill container. Okay. Awesome. So maybe we have 3 steps. Maybe the first one is create an account. Create account. Create account. Connect to students. Share what I don't know. Or maybe say start sharing or share your story. Share your story. And in design, we have are they called principles? Well, yeah, we have principles. So there is one called repetition because you don't want the different sections of what you're designing to look so different. You want some resemblance or some semblance so that they will know that it's still the same product that they are on. Which is why I brought back this blob shape. Because imagine I have like 4 different or 5 different shapes throughout the design. It's going to be, it's going to be weird as continue. If everything looks different, if nothing looks like something you've used before, it's just going to feel weird and there's going to be a disconnect between the user and what you have designed. So that's why you have to do some repetition, bring back some elements that you've used into in different sections of the design. So on that note, I'm also going to create some shapes with the pen tool. So, oh yeah, there's an auto layout here. My bad. Let me just draw it out here. So, this makes sense. Hopefully. Let me just put it in here and remember, ignore auto layout if you want it to have its own mind. I'll send this to the back. Yeah. Have something like that. This is just for this session. Let's just have something. It doesn't look too bad, so we can continue. How it works. Now I'm going to convert this to auto layout since I have whatever I need inside. Yeah, everything just sticks. Okay, so the next section is supposed to be testimonials. So how should we make our testimonials? Let's see. I'm just going to drag this down still. For testimonials, and also how did I apply auto layout? Auto layout is just Shift A. If you select what you want to select, just press Shift A, auto layout would apply. If you're talking about ignore auto layout, it's this small block here, this small square here. That's just what you have to press or click on, and it would ignore auto layout, just as the name implies. Now for I was going to say something. When you're designing, please use inspiration. Don't isolate yourself and think that okay, you just have to know how everything is going to look automatically. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. So if you feel stuck somewhere, there are different websites that you can go to for inspiration. I mean, where they will show you how different sections of the website could look. So for something like this testimonial section now, in my head, I'm thinking, how is this going to look? How should I make this work? I'm just going to go and look for inspiration and use that for my testimonial section. But remember, don't just copy everything you see down to the last T. So um make it a variable, or how do they say it? Just make sure that there's some variation between what you have and your inspiration. Remember, it's just inspiration, it's not the design you are doing. So at least in case you want to stay away from the people who drag others on Twitter. Yeah, it gets ugly. So for the testimonial section, um have no idea what I want to do. So I'm just going to look at something real quick and I'll be right back. Let me know how to approach this. Um, let's see. Image. Let's see how to say that. Okay, so in case you're looking for inspiration, there is this stars landing page. I'm going to share it with you guys on the group later on. Just, I mean, there you have them screenshots or, I mean, screenshots or links to different landing pages, depending on what you're looking for. And they also have like filters for you to see specific, what is it called? Specific pages or sections that you're interested in. Yeah, okay. So I think I've seen or I have an idea what I would like to do. So it's going to be like a Hall of Fame or whatever. So just going to have them different. Oh my God. Yeah, different what's it called? Posts from people. So before I do that, let me introduce that section. Duplicate, just drop this down. Here's what students have to see. What people are doing, what people are saying about us. And okay, that's it. It's okay. What? And just look at this and be sure it doesn't. Okay. So what people are saying about us. Um, going to have the testimonial section like different parts. So let me just try. So this one. So since I already have some things, some elements that are following my what is it called, my column, I don't need to bother about it so much. So I'm just going to follow Figma's and smart guides, exactly smart guides to make sure that they're all aligned. I'm going to set this to pure container. Then transport pixels. So let's see what it looks like here. Okay. What people are saying about us. Now I'm looking at it. I mean, we can have it like a Hall of Fame or Wall of Fame rather, not Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame. Or you can have it scrolling this way, like scrolling horizontally. It depends on you and what you want to achieve at the end of the day. But I think maybe I'll just continue with whatever I have here. We would have formatted it like a tricky. It's all right. Oh my god. So I'm going to add auto layout here, here, here. And right. So when I did an auto layout, it converted those shapes I did to frames. So I'm just going to duplicate the shape again, put it in the auto layout, duplicate it, select it, so it's not that auto layout, duplicate, select auto layout. From this one. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Then this up. So this one, this one, and this one on the sets of field containing. And this sets of field containing. Then we have this thing that looks like now. And this one, the sets of field containing. Sets of field containing. Okay. So I'm just going to round the corners. 20. I wish 20 or 24. I think 24. So 24 in here. Self is 20. So okay, so I'm just going to have I don't want to bother sorry, Chukwuka gift, is there a problem?
No, no, there is no problem at all. It's just the skill like is blowing my mind a little bit, but there's no problem.
Don't worry. When you design over time, you're going to blow your
Amen.
mind as well.
Amen. Amen.
So I want to have a rider text here. I don't even know what it's going to say, but yeah. Explain. Yeah. So what people are saying about it? Our students, our students have some amazing stories to share. Find the way and share yours. So I haven't forgotten that I want people to join the platform. So this is a good opportunity for me to encourage people to sign up. So I'm just going to bring back the sign up button. Say join now or sign up now. Sign up or sign up. Whichever. Whichever we want. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, what people are saying about this. Um, that's just two worksheet. Okay, whichever. So we're going to have different things people have shared on social media or wherever we are getting our testimonials from inside here. We don't have so much time, so those tiny details could be saved for later. Then, okay, ready to drive on campus, download this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we're already coming to the end of our design. I'm sorry that's all we have here are just different shapes this time around, but maybe sometime later we can come back, or I mean, if you guys want it, we can come back to add the details. Yeah. So, what people are saying about us, then this would be the last section. We're ready to drive and find us and read this now. Okay, so we're supposed to have a footer. We don't have time to design a footer, so let's let's like how do we even search it again? Okay. The random page, just search for random page. Oh, let me see if somebody has a collection of footer designs. Never think so. Footer. Okay. See, somebody definitely has a collection of footer designs. Which one is more popular? I'm sure we have the variety. Let's see this one. Good. Let's see. Okay, Figma. And situation resources. There is also a website that's strictly footer designs. I think the name is footer, just footer like that, which is interesting. Um, hide. How do I these designs? Let's see. So this one is cool. I think you should put what we're designing right now. I hope so. Let me just see. Let me just copy it and see where we're designing. Is it going to fit? I don't know. Let me just paste it here. Okay, it might in my work. I'm just going to duplicate this entire section. Come over here. Right. What's actually ready to thrive and campus. How So we could have maybe two CTAs at this point. So maybe you want to tell them to download, download Karma, and the other thing you want to tell them is what um speak to speak to what. Okay, I don't know who you're speaking to. Okay, chat with us. So definitely these two are not going to have the same color because one is supposed to have higher importance. So we have something we call hierarchy in design. So one CTA is more important than the other one. We can't have two primary actions together or two primary actions at the same time. So download now. Okay, download now. Chat with us. 147, 67. Let me see what should be. Where are you exactly? Is this not within the frame? Please. Okay, just arrived. So center. And maybe at this point you might want to bring back some elements from your hero section. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be the same way exactly. No, it doesn't. But just because we are trying to finish this up, I'm just going to duplicate this and drag it down all the way, all the way to this. Yeah. And this is what it looks like. Date. AI taking so much time. I hope this is still within the frame. Oh, so that's the frame. So let me just bring it back inside. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so our footer is going to be very simple. Just this and this. Group. Also layout. And bring this inside. So I'm just going to change it, edit it so that it fits the design we have. Center this. Drag to the left. Drag to the right. Set the padding to 80 pixels. 80 by 80. Okay, maybe this 8 is too much. Let's use 64. Yeah, 64 should work. And I'm just going to. How do we keep bringing that? Okay. And I'm going to set this to 40 just to make sure that the space in between them will be the same thing. So I'm just going to add auto layout here and add auto layout here. Select these two and set it to fill. Then change this one to left align. So what I just did now is to make sure that this whatever is here is always centered. Because sometimes if this is longer, definitely there's going to be more space in between the two of them. But with this set to, I mean, I've set this to fill, I've set this to fill. So whatever content is inside them, they're going to maintain the same width. It's not going to break at all. So I'm still going to reduce this. Okay, now it's 40. And I'm going to add a stroke. And this stroke, set it to top. Then tweak the color. So I'm just going to pick this color that is here. And maybe make it lighter because I don't want it to be too obvious. Then fix this. And I mean, we have a very poor, but yeah, fair enough. It's okay enough. Like this. Yeah. So I want to show you guys how to make it mobile responsive. That is the whole essence of that's already now. Oh, sorry. I forgot that we had not completed our navigation, our navigation bar. So I'm just going to add some links. Add some links. Duplicate. It's more important of the features. Features. About us. Have contacts, and definitely another call to action, which could be sign. So just as I mentioned, this does not need to be the main call to action. So okay, let me just copy this one that is here already and just replace this. So sign up. And this is also going to be smaller. So you're probably going to have 12 pixels here, 24. Then this is going to reduce. I'm going to set this to 14. Also, it's not too big. And put this in auto layout, set it to center. I'm going to select this one as well, just to separate them. So it will be 8, it will be 12. Bulk content. Just realized I added so. Okay. Move it this way. 32. 32. I'm going to select this, another auto layout, center. I drag it all the way to the left, drag it all the way to the right, and set this to 16. From 16, 8, 16, and out there, I'll set it so yeah, okay. That's not terrible, at least. Select this, I'm going to just reduce one side of it. So some of these things, I'm breaking some rules with some of the things I'm doing here, but it's okay to break the rules as long as it works, if that makes sense. So you can definitely break rules. There are some people who call themselves creative designers, and most of the time what they do is like they're just breaking the rules in quotes because it's somebody that set those rules just to make sure that we have a standard, right? But standards are just standards. You can definitely do something different just to make sure that you have some personality, or for whatever reason you are doing that, it's completely fine. Okay, so let's move on to mobile. So I'm going to add a frame for phone. I I usually use 375 by 812. Why? I mean, I would say that it's easy to scale up or down when you have something somewhere in the middle. But right now, it has become more habitual because I'm just used to it. Just take the 375 and move on. But it doesn't really matter a lot. When you are working, you should also talk to your developer so that you would know what he can work with as well. Because at the end of the day, the person implementing your design matters. So I'm bringing this in. Now, for mobile screens, the margin is usually, the margin, they will tell you minimum of 14. So I go with anything from 16 because to me 14 is just very little. But yeah, I usually go with 16. So I said the margin, that's the distance of the space from the edge of the screen to where the content fits. Because, if you're using a screen guard, you would know that there are some things that maybe if your screen guard has a border, it's going to cover. So we're supposed to put all of that into consideration. Now, for mobile screens, because we don't have as much space as we have in desktops, these navigations, they are going to be compressed. Okay, maybe not compressed, but they're going to be hidden under a menu, which we call progressive disclosure. So I'm just going to get a menu icon from, let me just go to feather icon. Feather icon. So this icon, they do not call it menu. This icon is supposed to be a justify icon, but it fits the purpose. So I'm just going to delete one line and then center the rest. Perfect. Going to set this to 1.5. That's the width of the line. Then 24. Going to set this color to right and text color. Okay, so Control X. It's R, if you remember. So sometimes, depending on what you want people to see, you can see some people have this menu icon and still have a CTA by the side. So if your goal is that you want people to sign up immediately, you can definitely go with that. But if you're comfortable enough and you just want your users to scroll through to see what the product has to offer, then you don't need to have the CTA here at this section. I mean, it's going to be within this menu when they click on the menu and they expand. So let me continue. Take this to the top. So I'm just going to increase this because in my head, I'm okay, we're going to have the status bar of the phone. So definitely the design is not going to start all the way at the top there, but I mean, it's not something for you to bother about because your developer is still going to implement what he wants to implement. So I just prefer to add a little space just so I remember that there's going to be the status bar there. Let's see what this looks like. So we can preview here. I mean, thanks to Figma, we can see a preview here. And when you want to view your when you want to view what you are presenting or whatever, you can decide to show it in a device. So if I click on prototype settings, you see here no device. So I can select iPhone 13 mini. This is what it looks like in a device. Yeah, just extra knowledge for you guys. So you have an idea how to navigate Figma better. I'm just going to hide this because I don't need it right now. I just want to go ahead and copy this design. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to just duplicate this and bring it inside. So remember, whatever you're doing, you're supposed to scale down because we are working with a smaller device now. Most times, when you come to your typeface or your text, what you will usually end up scaling are the headings because on your mobile device, the minimum font size for body text is ideally 16 pixels, which is what we are already using on desktop. So most times you don't even have to tamper with this unless your design calls for it. That is when you're going to start changing all these things. So for me, I'm not going to change it. I'm only going to bother about what is it called? The heading. So remember, I told you here, my margin is now 16. So I'm going to add it here where I have the auto layout settings. So set this to 16. Every other thing is going to fill container. So, why did I select this? Okay, I'll just take it one at a time. So for my mobile, I might decide that, okay, I want this to be 40. 40 is feeling a bit big for me. So 38. So, in cases like this, we actually have type skills to help you scale your typography. I'm going to share websites for that. So you're just going to put in your base and what is it called? Your base point, which is going to be 16, and it's going to help you multiply. So we have different ways of multiplying depending on the effect you're going for. There is a third major, there is a second minor or something like that. Just very interesting names they have. But yeah, those are just to help you move faster when you're designing. That's all it is. So let's go back to this. Find balance, feel success. What should I place this to? Let's see how this is. Okay. I'm not sure I like the 40, so let me just move it. Balance, feel success. For me next looking at this, not sure if I like it just yet. Okay, wait, I'll just leave it this way and see how it looks by the time we're done. So 16, I just want to reduce the spacing a bit as well. Not that it's changing a lot right now, but when you look at your design, you would know if the balance you're looking for is there. And for your spacings, I would advise you that you should establish your spacings as well so that you don't have the inconsistencies when you're spacing different elements in your design. Then, so this, I'm going to set it to fill container. Select that rectangle exactly and scale it. Just reduce it like this. So as you can see, I'm stopping just at the edge of my frame here. This is one of these exceptions where you can have elements still, and you can see this one. This one is even bigger than the frame because I know that it's supposed to be animated, so definitely it's going to have to cut through the screen whether I like it or not. Yeah. So for this, I don't think I really have any need to scale it down. So I'll leave this as it is. Let's move this one. Then this part now, this becomes interesting part. So how do we work with these images? That's something you might be asking. So you can decide to carry it like this, just copy it. I mean, when you work with a good developer, most of these things you won't have to be so bothered about it. You can decide to paste it in. Definitely remember you're going to scale. So I just hit scale button, which should help me scale it down. But let's see how it looks when I scale it. Now, what? Alt. Now, if you notice, as I'm scaling this down, I've lost whatever this image is saying or whatever it has to say. So in a case like this, you might decide to completely exclude, not include this image at all, because it's not serving any purpose per se anymore right now. Let me just show it really so that you guys can see it. Now, I don't see why I should be having this if it's going to be this small. You can decide, okay, let's see what it's going to look like if, before I scale it down. Use this, open the group. Let me see everything I have. I don't see what I got all these kind of outlines right now. So let's select this two, and I decide to just move them inside. Select one, two, move them. Fill this up. Now, it's still, it's still encroaching, but not as much. So I just select this, and maybe this is all you'll be seeing at the end of the day. So in an instance like this, it's up to you. You can decide to just eliminate those pictures entirely because you just won't see them when they're scaling down. That's just the truth. You won't see them. Let me just present this again. I'm presenting the wrong thing. Yeah, so you can see how it looks here. You can decide to just leave it this way and continue with your design, because at the end of the day, this section, because of the style of this design, it's probably going to cover a bit of this image. Let's see. I've duplicated this. I'm bringing this out here so that I can re-add it in here. This one is inside center. What did I just do? 16 pixels to the left and right, yeah. And definitely when you're scaling this, the corner radius is supposed to be scaled as well. So we'll probably just have something like 64, 64. Yeah, maybe. Then for this, this would probably be like 24. Out there, we're going to have, say, 16 and maybe 30 top and bottom. So now you are trying to just scale everything to make sure that it all fits into your mobile screen. So times like this, you'll be like, oh, okay, maybe a different design would have been more appropriate for this, but you can never be sure. Yeah, 1 second. Sure, that's, yeah. So this layout is also going to change as well. So for mobile screens, the things you have stacked horizontally on desktop, the layout is going to change. So it's going to be stacked vertically because that is where you have the space. You don't have the space horizontally. You're going to lose a lot of things if you try to stack them that way. that is why I now have this image under. And this image can definitely move up, and it's also going to be scaled down. Remember, definitely going to be scaled down. And this is also going to just be set to full container. Select this full container as well. Select. The spacing as well. I mean, the spacing between these ones will also change because it's a lot for mobile. So 20. Well, I want to change this to maybe 18 instead of 20. 40, maybe 32, 24. Whichever feels more appropriate. Now, let's preview again. So see what we're looking at. Yeah, so this is how it looks right now. Okay, so from there, how it works as well is also going to change. We have to stack these things that were horizontal before. We stack them vertically. You might say, okay, why don't we just leave it so that you can scroll horizontally? It's not ideal because, when you're scrolling, I mean, when what we call doom scroll, you're just scrolling down, 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 down. So not everybody will know to scroll left and right to see other things that you want to share with them, unless you feel those things are not important or you believe those things are not important according to what you are trying to achieve with the design. Just remember, at the end of the day, what you're trying to achieve is going to determine the result when you're designing. Yeah, so let's just continue. And this, I'll probably just change this to 64 or 64 or 80. That's then from 64 here, we're going to change it to 32. Then stack. Change the way it's stacked. Let's see. Yeah. So in this case, these dotted lines that we have, they are not really saying any role anymore, so they can go. Okay, so we have create account, do this, do that. So also going to edit this ones. Well, these images, you can decide to scale them down a bit if they're looking too big. Only if they're looking too big, otherwise I don't see any need to really tamper with them. But yeah. Okay. So we have this sorted. Now we have the wall of fame. But please let me know just a little feedback. Are you guys following so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Following.
Okay, awesome. So as I said, this is going to be stacked vertically this time around, not just horizontally anymore. So well, I don't know where I am anymore. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just going to set this to not local content. Set to hold content. So. All right. Okay, so because some of them were set to field initially, you can't even see some of them anymore. So I'm just going to work with this one. I can delete these ones since they're not so important to me right now. So I can just duplicate this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, yeah. Set this again to 375. Yep, that's and bring it inside. So this to fill as well. That's what we were saying about us. Also, 24 points. 2024. Yeah, 24. And we change this to 12 or 8. Just set like this. Set the margin, remember, to 16. And fix this to which will small. Stop. So I'm going to do a little tweaking here because I don't want us to just be doing it there at the bottom. So think about this. We're going to center our line. And for this one, so go back to this. Yep. 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 Just check. Okay. If it looks okay. Let's change this to 64. So as you can see, our mobile is getting longer, longer. So I can shorten this. So the length or the height of this is going to depend on the content you're working with. Please remember, so you don't just go and scale it down anyhow. You have to work with the content you have. It's just for the sake of this design, I'm just going to set them to have the same height. So we can continue. Okay. Drag this down, ready to thread on canvas. And okay. To the center. 375. Yeah, okay. So in this case, these buttons were able to fit horizontally, but in some cases, you're going to have them stack vertically, and yeah, you want to have them stack vertically. I mean, depending on the size of the button. So if you stack them vertically, you can just decide to make them your container, whatever. You can just decide to make them your container. It depends on what you're working on, right? But since this works this way, no need for me to change anything. So I'm just going to launch what I have and then add a very simple footer. So as you can see, let me change this to 16. So something similar to what we had here is happening, but this one we're just going to just as we said, stack it vertically and just set the space between them to like 32 or so. Actually, yeah. So this is your footer. Set it to involve something that is happening. This is still in the something that we can put somewhere. Social confidence. And yeah. So we have the mobile responsive design ready. That's pretty much it. I wish we had more time. We could go over different layouts and how we can make them responsive. So now, if you have any question, please go ahead to ask. You can raise your hand or drop it in the chat. So let me go back to the other questions that we had. Okay, so you asked how I faded the parts of the social testimonial. Okay, testimonials rather. So here I used a mask. A mask works the way a mask works. So you're pretty much covering something. And what it affects, okay, so for the mask will affect the appearance, not appearance in that sense, but maybe the okay, think of a mask as an umbrella. Maybe let me use that analogy. So the part covered by the mask is going to be visible. Now it's working opposite. So the what the mask covers is going to be visible. What the mask doesn't cover will be visible. Let me show you. So I've selected that rectangle I used as a mask. You can see all the way from this end to this end because that is the size of the rectangle. If I should reduce the size of the rectangle now, you're not going to see those parts anymore. That's what I'm trying to say, that what the mask covers is what you're going to see. And because because whatever the mask covers is going to try to behave the way the mask is. If I should reduce the opacity of the mask to 0, then you won't see that thing anymore. Knowing that, I decided to use a gradient for the fill of the mask. And now, this is completely filled. I mean, I don't know if you should know how a gradient works. So this is completely filled. And at the end, where I have other colors, just the way gradient works, a gradient is a mix of different colors. So the colors at the end, I set their opacity to 0. That is why this is faded. I don't know if that makes sense, if that is clear. So once you cover something with a mask, or once you apply a mask onto something, if you want to fade away parts of that element that is being covered, just set the opacity of your mask to 0. Or if you're using a gradient for the fill, set the parts where you want where you want it to be invisible to 0. So I can change this to radial. The way radial works, you can see how the colors are arranged. So this part in the center, if you zoom in, is where the opacity, that's the 0 opacity, is actually being applied. So the best way for you to understand it is for you to work with it by yourselves. So I don't think I can do justice trying to explain what a mask is exactly. I hope that helps. Okay. Before I get to the standard height, let me take the second question. So for the blobs, as I mentioned, is a plugin. If you want to get plugins, you can go to you can go to Figma community to search. This way that I search for a footer. So let me search for globes so that you guys will see it. You are going to see here all files, plugins, widgets. So some people have created a file that they call the plugin and that they call globes. That's why you can see some files that have it. So what I'm using is a plugin. So you just select plugin and you install it, or you try and open it in the file you're using. That's just how it works. So if you're looking for a plugin that you have installed in your file, just press Ctrl+/key, and this is going to come out. So you're going to see all assets, plugins, and widgets. But whatever you're looking for, once you just start typing, you're going to see it appear, whether it's an asset or a plugin. You don't necessarily have to go under the different tabs to see the plugins you have. Let me see. So for the okay, I'm going to show you guys. Okay, so for the standard height of the hero section, I want, at least for the times I've been designing, right? I don't think I have ever come across a standard height, but the advice I would give is that you make sure your hero section, or I mean, your hero section should be close to the height of the viewport. So the height of the viewport depends on the device you're working with, right? So if you check for desktop, check the height of the viewport, it will be like 960 pixels. So I usually set mine to a minimum of 960 pixels, but definitely it can also be shorter, but not too short, definitely. I mean, not too short that because your design has to be breathable. I mean, you need to give your users room for their eyes to rest at certain points. So you don't want your design to be too crowded. That's why your hero section is most likely or always going to cover the height of the viewport, which is 960 for desktop. I mean, your viewport is also dependent on the size of the screen of the device you're using. So you came late to the class. You're just going to go over the video because my throat is starting to hurt. I've been talking for the past 2 hours. Sorry, you have access to the video. Then on the mobile design, how did we do the features? Yes, okay. Thank you for breaking that up, even though just very tired right now. But if you want to design the menu, just duplicate this. You can change this. I mean, because it also depends on the type of menu you're going for. You could decide that your menu is going to drop down from the top. Like if they click on this to expand, it could drop down from the top, or you could want it to slide in from the left or right, however you want to do it. So let's say we want it to slide in. Sorry, let me just get the icon from the icons. Changes to close. Right. R. So I'm just trying to show you what your menu could look like. Not that it must look this way. Let's just be clear on that. So we have the features. We have about us. We have the contacts. And then we have the sign up, which is our CTA. So sign up. We're going to center everything. And I'm going to want to increase the size of this. I mean, just because I have a lot of space with this type of menu design I'm going for, so I can just decide to increase this to 24. It's definitely up to you. You don't have to follow it like this the way it is. So I'm going to change this to 16 maybe. and I can decide to make this build container. Delete this. Delete every other thing that we don't need that is on this page. Delete, 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 delete. So what I'm designing right now is like an overlay such that when I click on, I'm probably just going to animate it and show you guys. Definitely increase the spacing here because I just have a lot of space and I'm not managing it to anybody. So try to still increase this. So the way it's going to work is go to tile. I want it to be when I tap on this, it opens this as an overlay. Tap, action, open, overlay, position, centered, or let me make it manual. So I want this to appear here when I open it. Background, and then okay, background, and for this, I want it to close overlay. So let's just see a preview of what it's going to look like. So if I tap on this, it opens overlay. If I tap on this, it closes. So that's one way it can appear. You can also make it what is it called? Slide down, like slide down. These are like settings you have when you're prototyping. So here you see where they have animations. So you can change it to smart, to moving or anything you want it to do. Let's see how that one looks. But yeah, it's completely up to you how you want it to be. That's it. Any other question? So we can end the class. I guess we don't have any other.
For the mirroring, sorry, please, I have.
Oh,
For
okay.
the mirroring, please, what's the name of the app?
For which one? Sorry.
So at the beginning, you mentioned that we can mirror whatever we design. So I'm asking that what's the name of the app?
Okay. Yeah, it's Figma. It's Figma. Just on your mobile device, just search for Figma. That's their, that's their mobile app. Yeah.
So when we download it, how do we get this design on it?
Okay, so it works automatically. So when you download it, sign in. As you're designing and you want to view something on your mobile phone, just select the frame. It's going to pop up there on the Figma app.
Okay, so does that mean that the mirroring, does that mean the site or the page will be clickable? Is that what it means?
No, not necessarily. It's just going to be the design. So unless you prototype it ahead, then it will be clickable if you prototype it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Spent 2 hours 30 minutes. So thank you guys for joining. Do we have another question? Okay. So thank you guys for joining the class. The video is going to be made available to you guys for those that read it. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
Thank you.
Do you have more?